Hello.
Hello. Good evening.
I guess we're early.
That's okay. So am I. I don't mind being early. It's when I'm late, I feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, I know. You missed what they're starting talking about.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, nothing wrong with being early.
So we are in the last perek, right?
I think we're, yeah, Chuf Gimel. I've been gone for a couple of weeks, so I don't know. I know he's finishing tonight. That much I know.
Okay.
Hello, good evening.
Hi, Bernie.
Hi,
How are
Kali.
you?
Hi, Magda.
Yeah, Bernie, where were you holding? I missed a few weeks.
I think we're on 24:14, your dollar, the last parak.
24:14. Okay.
Or 15, I'm not sure which one it is, but that's where I think we're at.
Got it. Okay. You better be right.
Or else.
Yeah, where's your better half?
She'll be here in a minute.
Okay. She's chazering over from last week. It's nice. It's good.
New Zealand was in the news again today, I saw.
What happened?
With the
What did they
airplane?
Massive flooding. Oh my goodness.
I can't imagine it could flood any more than it flooded. It was crazy. It was really nuts. The rain there is, I can't describe the rain. I've never seen rain like that before. It was sheets of water, not just raindrops, just sheets. And this is even worse, I heard. Yeah, the cyclone that came.
Yeah. Did you watch the movie on Netflix?
Which movie? Oh, the volcano?
Yeah.
No, I didn't want to watch it.
It's the cherry on top of the cake.
You know, it rained so hard that where we were staying in Auckland for Shabbos. There was a farm nearby with horses. The horses wore raincoats. That's how much it rained. I'm not joking. Should have taken a picture.
So this evening's news, it showed people walking in the street with the water level up to their waist.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Wow. Where? What city?
It must have been Auckland.
It must have been Auckland, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, they hit really bad. I feel bad for the rabbi there. He's struggling, and on top of all this, doesn't help.
Yeah.
But Australia was nice.
What's that?
Australia was very nice.
Did you get to see the Great Barrier Reef?
No, that's very far. That's like a whole different thing. It's like I think a 5-hour plane trip.
Wow.
Next time when you go. I know Temi wants to go. They have good shopping there. They have outlets. They have an outlet store. There's some people from the cruise when special they stayed and they're going to fly up to the Great Barrier Reef. But it's a whole different thing. And it's very hot there. It's right on the equator.
Oh, it's further north, yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, Ernie.
Hello, everybody.
Hi, Ernie.
Ernie.
It's good to have everyone back. Susie's in Baltimore.
Oh,
Her brother Jerry marrying off a son.
oh, nice.
I'm in Avela, so
Right.
it was not easy for me to go. But Yaakov was here, and two of my grandchildren, Talia and Daniel, came from Israel just to spend a week because they were off of school. So they were here last week and they're at the wedding too.
Nice, very nice.
Mazel tov.
Good.
Thank you. Okay, I think we're gonna finish Shmuel Bet today. We're in Perek Chav Daled, Pasuk Tet Zayin, where the Perek takes a switch. We've been dealing with the counting, the census that was done improperly, the punishment, where 70,000 people were killed in a very short time. And Pasuk Tet Zayin says, "Vayishlach yado hamalach Yerushalayim l'shachasa," that the malach that was sent by Hashem to carry out this plague, his next stop was Yerushalayim. But at that time, because of the tshuva that David HaMelech did, right? Vayinochem Hashem el hara'ah. Hashem now has comfort on his people. Vayomer lamalach hamashchis ba'am rav, and Hashem tells to the malach who had killed many people, Ata heref yadecha, hold back your hand. Umalach Hashem haya in goren ha'aravna hayevusi. At that time, the malach was at the threshold of the silo, the barn of a Yevusi named Aravna. And this image of a malach was actually shown to David HaMelech. We recite a pasuk in the Haggadah, V'charbo shlufa b'yado netuya al Yerushalayim. We say that's a pasuk. And this malach was holding a sword as if it was going to strike Yerushalayim. And Hashem placed him, this image, at this silo or Ravna Yevusi. So David HaMelech would see it, and he would daven there, and he would daven at that place. Now, what is special about that place? That place is the Makom HaMikdash. Right? The Yevusi were in Yerushalayim. We had that in Shoftim, that they had not conquered. We actually had in Yoshua that they had not conquered the Yevusi from Yerushalayim. And then we had mentioned, I think earlier on in Shmuel, that there was still a bastion of Jebusites, Yevusi, holed up in one of the towers in Yerushalayim. And one of them is a Ravna Yevusi. So David HaMelech is being shown the place where to daven. And the tefillah of David HaMelech is going to stop the Magefa. Not only that, but it's giving David HaMelech a sign. This is the Makom HaMikdash. This is where, if you daven, you're going to have effective answers to your tefillah. It's the base tefillah. Many of the Meforshim are very busy with the concept of how could HaKadosh Baruch Hu change his mind, right? Vayinochem. Right? He knows what's in the future, but now he changes his mind. So throughout Tanakh, we see that the matzav can change when either people daven or when people do tshuva. So there is shinui adin. Actually says in the Gemara Brachos, Samech Beis Amid Beis, Vayomer lamalach hamashchitz ba'amrav, Amrav Elazar, Amalei HaKadosh Baruch Hu l'malach. HaKadosh Baruch Hu said to the angel, Holy Rav Shebahem, bring me the greatest of them. Sheyesh bo lipor mehem kama choivos. B'ois Rasha meis Avishai ben Tzruya, sheshakol keruva shel Sanhedrin. So one more person died. Avishai ben Tzruya, right? The brother of Yoav ben Tzruya. This is a cousin of David or nephew of David. And Avishai was, if you put him on the scales, he weighed like the whole Sanhedrin. Another Gemara says, like in Divrei Hayomim, the pasuk says, Ra Hashem. Hashem saw, Vayinochem ala Ra. So again in Brachos it says, my Ra. What did he see? Amar Rav Ra Yaakov Avinu. Dichsi Vayomer Yaakov kasher Ra. Yaakov Avinu had davened in this place. Shmuel Amar Eifar shel Yitzchak Ra. The ashes of Yitzchak Avinu, the Akedah, took place, and it's sort of like a theoretical ashes, as if Yitzchak was burned. Rav Yochanan Amar Beis Hamikdash Ra, because by the Akedah it says Bahar Hashem Yera'eh, which is going to be the Makam HaMikdash. Pasuk Yud Zayin. Let me just see. Now, why was Avishai punished? That we did. Why did Hashem take Avishai? What problem did he do? So says the Musar Nevi'im, Zemishum, did David hayach kofuf l'Sanhedrin? David followed the Sanhedrin, like we learned. The Bereshis Rabbi Kivin Sharash Shmuel is David Admoini. When Shmuel first came to the house of Yishai and saw that David had a red complexion, because it says Vayishlach Vayivyehu Admoini. So Nisyare. So Shmuel was afraid. Av zeh shoifech damim ke'esav. The other person who was Admoini is Esav HaRasha. He was also a roite, which was a siman that he was involved in murder. Yeah, but David HaMelech had nice eyes. Esav midas atzmo hu hoyreg. Esav kills people based on his own whim. Zeh, David, midas Sanhedrin hu hoyreg. He only kills if Sanhedrin adjudicates and says this person is chayav the death penalty. Im Kain, nimtza. The Ilu Ayo Sanhedrin moichin b'David. If the Sanhedrin would have protested against David HaMelech's census, then the Magefa would not have taken place. Lo haya oisas amaisas mishum shelo michu bo lekach nenash hagadol sheba Sanhedrin. Avishai, who was one of the leaders of the Sanhedrin, was punished because of this din of the Sanhedrin. Yud Zayin. Vayomer David el Hashem biroso es hamalach hamakeh ba'am. David said to Hashem when he saw the image of this angel, Vayomer hinei anochi chatasi v'anochi evesi. David puts it all on himself. I'm the one who sinned. The Elad son me'asu. What did the sheep? What did they do? Tehina yadcha bi uveves avi. Your punishment should be on me and in the family, in my father's family.
Why talk to the Malach and not to Hashem?
He did. Vayomer David el Hashem
Oh, Hashem.
biroto et hamalach.
Oh, okay.
Now the question is, why did David wait till now? Why didn't he Why didn't he do all of this before the Magefa hit Klal Yisrael? But we see very clearly that David HaMelech is one of two leaders that put their life on the line. He's basically saying, take me, put the punishment on me. And there are two people. The Mechilta of Rabbi Shmuel says,
Yeah.
the Moshe Rabbeinu, Mahu Omer, the Ata im Tisachat Asam. By the Egel, he says, Hashem, now you must forgive them. Vim ayin, mecheni na mesifrecha asher kosafta.
Where is that? I don't see that.
That's in Shmos Lamed Beis, where Moshe says, forgive the people, otherwise write me out of your sefer. The imkacha at oseli hargeni naharog. He's willing, and in Bamidbar he does the same thing. And here as well, David says, Hine anochi chatasi v'anochi avesi, tihina yavchabi uvevesavi. So he and Moshe Rabbeinu.
It's not the same analogy. Here, David Chata. Moshe didn't make the head.
Correct, but Moshe is still willing to take the punishment on himself.
The Mayam Loes also mentions that Yehoshua did that also in Perek Zayin in Yehoshua, when he says, I'll take the blame for Bnei Yisrael. I can't remember which incident that was.
Right, by Achan, I think, right? By I.
So he also contrasts that with Shaul HaMelech, because Shaul, when it came to his sinning, he blamed the nation, Am Yisrael, rather than taking the blame himself.
Correct.
Contrast.
It's a contrast to Shaul.
Yeah.
The Yalkut Shimoni here in Shmuel Beis, Amr Vavo, Bo Ure'ei Koach HaTshuva Midavid Melech Yisrael, Shenishba Kadosh Baruch Hu La'avois, Laharbois Zaram, Kichoach ve'Hashamayim Laro. Kadosh Baruch Hu promised Avram, Yitzchak, Yaakov that he's going to increase their population like the stars in the sky. Ubo David limnois mispara. David comes to count them. Armelo Kadosh Baruch Hu David. Ani nishbati lo avos laharbois zaram ve'ata ba'levatel es dvorai. You're coming to negate this because there's going to be a magefa. Uvishalosh shows naflu shivim elafish. In the first 3 hours, 70,000 died. Rav Shimon says, Lo nafal mi Yisrael el Abishai ben Sruya, that he was considered like 70,000. Shaya shakal b'maisav atoyim v'torah shebelibo k'shivim elafish. Pasuk Yudches. Vayavo Gad el David bayomahu. The Navi God comes to David, Vayomer lo, Alei Hakeim Lashem Yizbeach, Begoren Aravna Yevusi. There's now a command from the Navi for David HaMelech to build a Mizbeach at this location. By Goren Aravna, which is the Mokem Beis HaMikdash. Here, the Medrash Shmuel says, the Navi is basically giving David a remez that all of this punishment is that, like we said before, because the Ramban explained that Klal Yisrael didn't ask to build the Beis HaMikdash, and that's why the siman now is build the Mizbeach here, and that's the siman that all of these punishments are coming because of that. How is it that Klal Yisrael left Yevusim here? They're one of the Sheva Umos, and it says Lo Sechaya Kol Neshama. And already it said in Shmuel Perakei, Loka David es Metzudas Sion Shaya Mokem Yevusim. And we're going to see David HaMelech is going to buy this land from Aravna. Now, how did they have land that David had to buy it? There was no bias to the Zaina Amin. So the Radak says, Elo Ayavusim Nisharu Sham Mishikavshu Bnei Yehuda. It says in Yoshua Tezvav, Vesayavusi Yoshve Yushalayim Lo Yuchlu Bnei Yehuda Lo Harisham. The Bnei Yehuda could not dislodge them. Vayeshe Vayavusi et Bnei Yehuda B'Yushalayim Ad Hayom Hazeh. Vayusham L'Masove. They pay taxes, but they Vayulahem Batim Sadot Ukramim. Ayidei Amasha Yu'odin V'nei Yehuda V'nei Binyamin. The Bnei Yevusi paid taxes to keep their fields and their houses there. And that's the field and the silo or barn that David bought from Arav Yevusi. We already learned that Ramban about that they didn't ask to build the Beis Hamikdash. That brought the Magefa. Now, during the time, they ask also, in the time of Yoshua, they divided up all the land to all the 12 Shvatim. So this land must have belonged to one of the Shvatim. How was it in the Rishus of Aravna? So it says in Yuma, Yud Beis, Amud Aleph, Yerushalayim lo nischalka l'Shvatim. Yerushalayim was like an international city. It was not divided to the Shvatim. Therefore, it was possible for a Ravna to own land there, and David could buy it there. And that's what David bought. That's how Rashi learns. That when David bought this Goyren from Arav Yevusi, he actually went around, collected money from every Shevet, like it says in the Sifri. And therefore now, the Mokam HaMikdash is considered owned by all of the Shvatim. However, there's a machlokas in Masechta Yuma. There is a mandomer that holds that Yushalayim nischalka l'Shvatim, that it was divided to the Shvatim. So again, how was it that there's karka for David to buy from Aravna? So there's a Tosfos Sarosh there in Yuma, that Aravna Yevusi lo haya lo chelek ba'aretz, because the land was already hipil benachla begoiral to all the Shvatim, and the money that was given to him is just to dispel any rumors that it hadn't been divided from him. That's what the Tosfos Sarosh says, and that really Aravna didn't have a chelek there. And the Chazon Ish, in our time, in his commentary on Yuma, that said that Aravna had no bias on the karka. The reason that David gave him money, he wanted kibush alidei kesef, that Gans Klal Yisrael would feel that they'd have ownership there. So you see, it's totally this machlokas whether nischalka Yushalayim l'Shvatim or not. The Radak also says these Yevusim lohaya min sheva umos elami plishtim mizer Avimelech. We had this in Sefer Yoshua, and Radak explained there as well that these were called Yevusi, but they were plishtim, descendant of Avimelech, and therefore we ask the question: how is it permitted to leave people from the sheva umos in Eretz Yisrael? They were not; they were plishtim. They were also makabel, not to worship Avodah Zarah, and they kept mitzvahs like Bnei Noach. They were considered ger toshav. And even in the Zion Umos, if they accepted the no Avodah Zarah, that they wouldn't sin, they could stay as well, according to Radak.
But they cannot own.
So we went through it. So according to the Chazon Ish and the Tosfos Sarosh, he didn't own anything. And that which David HaMelech gathered money, it was symbolic. The Gemara in Avodah Zarah Chav Daled says, Amar Rav Nachman, Aravna ger toshav haya. And what's a ger toshav? Misha kibel alav zayin mitzvahs. According to the Ralbag and the Mitzudas David, Aravna was a ger tzedek. But that's not like the Gemara. Now, very interesting. All of us have learned when we read about the Akedah, this is the Makam HaMikdash, when Yaakov Avinu has the dream of the Sulam. But it seems like this is the first time that it's revealed to Klal Yisrael, or to us in Tanakh, that this is the Makam HaMikdash. That's what it seems like. In fact, the Ralbag says, it says in Divrei Yomim very clearly that Goran Aravna is Nahar Moria. It doesn't say that here. But remember, we've been learning parallel psukim here in Divrei Yomim. So says the Ralbag, the Yidmesh and Ifchar Zeh Makom Lios Bo Beis Hamidrash Mikedem. V'hu hamakom shebana Avram bo mizbech lakedes Yitzchak, ki hu haya gam kein b'har HaMoriah k'mo shenizkar b'Torah. The Rambam in the Hilchos Beis HaBechira says, Kiven shenivna migdal b'Yerushalayim, nesru kol hamakomos kulan livnos b'hen bayis l'Hashem l'akriv b'hen korban. Once they built the Beis HaMikdash Yerushalayim, you could not offer korbanos anywhere else. Ve'ein sham bayis l'dorei adoros ela b'Yerushalayim b'lvad. Uvahar hamoiriya shabbat nemar, like it says in Divrei Yomim, Vayomer David, Zehu Beis Hashem Elokim, the Zeh Mizbeach Lo Oil Yisrael. This Mizbeach that God just told him to build is referenced directly in Divrei Yomim. When it says in Tehillim Kuflam and Beis, Zos Menuchasi Adei Ad, that it's mashma the Ad She'omer David Zeh Lo Hayan Andoyah Ever Makam HaMikdash. People didn't know where the Makam HaMikdash was. Even though the Mesorah came down from Abraham Avinu and all that, this is the first time that the people are told. And that's why the Radak wrote in the pasuk we just learned, that this Malach, he has similar David, Kishamu Makam HaAtara, that's where you daven. V'sham yeh Beit HaMikdash. V'sham Beit HaTfilah V'avoida. K'mo shetziva lo hakel al yedei Gad la'akim sham Yizbeach. V'sham neter lo be'esh yarabin hashamayim la'olah. In Divrei Yomim, it says that fire came down and consumed the Mizbeach. So this is very important. These are very important psukim regarding the location of the Beis HaMikdash.
So Ernie, if this is the first time it's mentioned as the Beis HaMikdash will be built here, how could you hold the Bnei Yisrael responsible for not recommending to David HaMelech about the building of the Beis HaMikdash?
Well, they could have demanded, listen, we want to build the Beis HaMikdash. Go to the Navi and ask. Do the Urim V'Tumim and ask. I mean, that's what you have to say. And they didn't know, but that doesn't mean they couldn't request it and seek after, like David HaMelech requested. That's the time that's held against them. Now, there's a very interesting, here's another kasha based on how we're learning now. It says in Zvachim, Nun Daled Amid Beis, Dorish Rabbah, Mai dichsi vayelech David u'Shmuel vayeshvu b'noyois b'Ramah. When Shmuel was alive, it says David and Shmuel went and sat at a high place. Now, Shmuel lived in Ramah. So what is Noyois Eitzel Ramah? Ella says the Gemara Shayu Yoshvin B'Ramah, which was the city of Shmuel. V'oiskin b'noya shel oilam, the beauty of the world. Limtzo makom l'beis habachira min haTorah. And they learned the following psukim in Dvarim Yud Zayin. It says, "V'kamta v'alisa." You shall get up and you shall go up. Melamed shebeis hamikdash haya gavoa mikol Eretz Yisrael. The place of the Beis Hamikdash was on the highest point. Elam makom melamed shebeis hamikdash gavoa mikol Eretz Yisrael. The Eretz Yisrael gavoa mikol haratzos. Lahavi yadi duchteich, but they didn't know exactly where it was. Shmuel and David. So, Aisu Sefer Yoshua. So they brought Sefer Yoshua. And there, if you remember, it says Vayered Va'ala Gvul, the Torah Gvul B'Shevet Binyamin, the Allah Ksiv, Vayered Lo Ksiv. So in the area of Binyamin, it says you go up and there's no going down. So they knew that the Makam HaMikdash was in Shevet Binyamin. Shma Mino Achol Mekoymai. Where it says Benk Tefav Shachain by Binyamin, between his shoulders. So Nasa also Namuch Ma'at V'nivnei b'Yushalayim Shahai Lamata. I guess there were mountains above Yerushalayim, and Yerushalayim was like in the like the shoulders off the head. So the kasha is, if that's the case, Shmuel and David already knew the makam of the Mikdash before this siman of the Malach. What is this new siman at the time of the Magefa? There's another problem. There's a story in Masechta Sukkah Nun Gimel. B'shar shekara David shisin kapet tohoima u'bala mishptei alma. David HaMelech dug tunnels. Eventually, when the Beis Hamikdash was built, they poured water and yayin, and they would go down into the Tahom. David HaMelech built those. However, when he started building it, water came up and was flooding the earth. Is there somebody who knows the din that we can write the shame of Hashem on a piece of clay and throw it into the well? Nobody had the answer. Omer David. Whoever knows and doesn't say should choke. Achitophel made a kavachomer. When a husband suspects his wife of infidelity, and she went through the sota process, and the husband would take her up to the Beis Hamikdash, they would write the shame of Hashem on a parchment, and they would dissolve it in water. So Achitophel says, you write the name of Hashem, it gets erased. Here the world is getting flooded to make peace between HaKadosh Baruch Hu and the rest of the world. You certainly should be allowed to dissolve the name of Hashem. So he told David, Shori, cause of Shem HaChaspa, they wrote the shame of Hashem on this thing, and they threw it in. So this story of a Rav Yevusi is 3 years after the death of Achitophel. Remember, Achitophel went and hung himself. So must be, even though he hadn't bought this Goyren, he knew from his youth, already from Shmuel, from the time that he was anointed, and also this case by Yoshua when they learned, and Achitophel. He had certain details about the Makam HaMikdash from the time of Achitophel. But he needed to be shown the place al yedei Navi. And that's the punchline. That's what the Ramban says in Dvarim. Because it says, Lishichno tidrishu. You have to go to the Shechina and ask. Shetelchu lo me'eretz merchakim v'tishalu ana derech beis Hashem. Drosh al pi hanavi. So they needed to wait until God Hanavi told them, this is the place. There's no heter to be makriv korbanos on a mizbeach until a Navi shows you where the place is. So they knew from the time of Avram, from the time of Shmuel and David, Achitophel, but a Navi had not told them. That's why God has to say now, Akem Lashem Mizbech Begorna Ravim. After the Navi tells them, David is allowed to bring a korban there. Oh, now we can deal with a very important topic. Can we bring korbanos bizman hazeh? Not only that, is there a chiyuv? Do we have an obligation to bring korbanos bizman hazeh? So the Maritz Chayes, an Achroin in the late 1800s, said there's a chiyuv. We know now where the Mokum HaMikdash is, and there's a chiyuv. Now the Binyan Sion said no, because the Navi has to tell us where it is, even in our time. Sam Sofer, the Shutchas Chamsa Yordeya, wrote to his father-in-law Rabbi Akiva Eger regarding this issue of Akrova Korbanos Bizman Hazeh. Now, if the Kedusha, the original Kedusha that was established, it doesn't last forever, so there's no Isser Bamais. You could be Makro Korbanos even other places. Of course, there's other shilas we have to deal with. There's no problem with Tumah, because the concept of Tumah is Hutra B'tzibur. If 50% of Klal Yisrael are Tomei, the Korban Tzibur can be brought. You'd have to go to the mikveh to get rid of Tumah that comes out of your body. But the Tumah Smeis, we don't have Paraduma, but that's okay. We don't have to worry about Kohanim Yuchasim, because there's a Chazak, we go on Chazaka. So that's a whole sugya, and many of us have heard shiurim on that many times. Pasuk Yutes. Vayal David kidvar Gad kasher tziva Hashem. So David goes up to this field of Aravna, and he davens. Vayashkef Aravna, Vayaris HaMelech v'Savado. Aravna the Yevusi sees Melech and his retinue. Vayitzei Aravna vayishtach laMelech apavartz, and he bows to David. Vayomer Aravna madua badoni HaMelech lavdo. Why are you here? Vayomer David liknot me'imcha tagoren. I want to buy your field. Livnot mizbeach laHashem, to build a mizbeach. Vateatzar magefa me'alam. This will cause the plague to stop. Vayomer Aravna el David, Yikach, please, v'yaloni HaMelech atov beinav, take it. Rei aboker la'oila, here we have cows for an oila. V'morigim u'kle'aboker leitzim, and we even have implements, wooden and metal implements to use as well. And we could use it to make fire for the Mizbeach. He wanted to give the Goren Belev Shalem even without money. The Gemara in Menachos says, "Ha'etzim shenosan Arun Arabna LeDavid, hayu chadoshim shelo nishtamshu behem ba'olam." You can't use wood that had been used before, so they were new pieces of wood. Hakol pasuk Chav Gimel. Hakol nosan Arabna Melech LaMelech. Vayomer Aravna LaMelech Hashem Elokecha Yirtzecha. David did not accept a matana, not the Mizbeach, not the Ola. He thanked him, but he really didn't accept it, as we're going to see soon. Vayomer HaMelech El Aravna Lo ki kanu eknecha noscho b'mechir. I'm going to pay you for this. V'lo alel Hashem Elokai olos chinam. I'm also not going to give animals as an olah for free. I'm going to pay for it. So Vayiken from a Loshen Kinyan, David es agarim es abakar bekesef shkolim chamishim. For 50 shekel. Now, in Divrei Yomim it says, Vayiten David la'arnon b'mokom shikle zav mishkal sheish ma'os. And here it says shkolim chamishim. HaKetzad says the Gemara in Zvachim Kuf Tet Zayin Omid Beis. Goyva mikol shevet v'shevet chamishim shein sheishes meos. He collected 50 shkolim from every shevet times 12 is 600. So all of the shvatim participated. That's how the Radak learns and Rashi learns. Chazal in general, tzaddikim do not like to accept gifts. Like it says in Breshis, Avram soine matnas chinam. He didn't want to take anything, not from Ephron, not from the Malchei Sdom, Kim bekesef mole. Though the Melech as well didn't want to accept any maton. Let's read the last pasuk together. Vayiven sham David mizbeach l'Hashem. David there built the mizbeach. Vayal olot ushlamim. And he offered olas and shlamim. What's the difference? An ola completely burnt. Nobody eats from an ola. Shlamim, the bailim eat from it. Vayeyoser Hashem lo'aretz. Hashem answered the prayers. Vateyatzara magefa me'al Yisrael. And the magefa stopped. Famous Chazal from the Gemara Megillah Tes Vav. We read a pasuk Chaf Gimel. Vayomer Arav LaMelech Hashem Elokecha Yirtzach. Hashem, your God, you should find favor in Hashem, your God. So Aravna gave him a bracha. Based on this, the Gemara Megillah says, Am Rav Chanina la'olam al tihi birchas hed yoid kala beinecha. Famous Chazal. When someone gives you a blessing, doesn't make a difference who it is, you shouldn't treat that lightly. It's an important thing. Sharei shnei gdoilei ador, bircham shnei adyoitos v'niskama behem. Two gdoilei ador regular people gave them a bracha and was miskayim. Eloin David v'Daniel. David the bercha Aravnia. Aravna gave David a bracha. Daniel the bercha Daryavesh. Darius gave Daniel a bracha. Elokecha di an plach le bechadituto hu yishiv necha. Gave him the same kind of bracha, and it was Makayim in both of them. It says in Bereshis Rabbah, "Mivnei ma lo nifkeda Rivka ad sheyispalel alei Yitzchak." Why didn't Rivka have children until Yitzchak davened for her? Shelo yu umas adam oimrim tfilasenu asta perus. Because remember, Lavan and Besuel gave Rivka a bracha when they left. Hainu shelo yomer shemitoch shebarchu oisa beveis avia va'amru achoisenu, our sister at ha'il al feirava. Lekach nisbarcha b'vanim. So we don't want, but well, how come we don't say over there, let it be a birchas hedyoy? Im kein gam kan, the aravna v'ardayavish, hayalanu gam kein lochush kshashazu. Nira loymar, the kanare barchu lo mikoch atzman, and the barchos from sham mokem yivarchosam. Aravna said Hashem should bless you. There, Besuel and Rivka gave them a bracham on their own. They didn't do it b'shem Hashem. It was mikoach atzman. That is not a bracha that a birchas hedyon is going to work on.
Still using it today.
We use that chazal, correct?
No, the bracha, we're still using it even if it's not.
Yeah, we use that bracha. Yes, because it said it absolutely. It's a beautiful. I think I used that when I went at the chuppah to give a bracha to my daughter, right by the bedekin. I wrote down all the various brachas, and I think I recited this as well. Thank you for reminding me, Tzvi.
So
Now, I want to read the final statement that the Musar Nevi'im says. Hinei yesh lanu leva'er davar echad. It's going to say in Malachim Aleph, Asher asa David et hayashar b'nei Hashem, v'losar mikol asher tzivo kol yemei chayav, rak b'dvar Uriah hachiti. This is going to be a testimony given later on in Malachim that David never sinned against Hashem, except the event of Uriah hachiti when he sent Batshava's husband to the front line. Arei deloya nechshav l'David chet acher, kim chet to Uriah. Kasha. Arei chatu kan b'inyan adasota. Shemonas Yisrael shelo kedin ha'toyra v'gorma magef v'gdoilo b'hem. How come this sin that David counted and led to a magef, why is that not mentioned and only the sin of Uriah Hachiti is mentioned? Nira loymar. Dilakach lo haya nechshav lo achet hazeh shimdu haya goram leknias makom beis hamikdash. This magefa, and then the malach comes, and David sees the malach, and they see the makom hamikdash, and he's told. So the chet, the aveira, and the magefa all led to the binyan beis hamikdash. So you know what? It's not considered such a chet.
also it was Musat. It wasn't from his own will.
Say it again.
It was Musat. Vayaset. Hashem was making him doing this chesed.
Correct.
Mesit, like.
Yeah, but
So-
remember we learned that what that meant is he took away the siyata deshmaya to be able to fight against the Yetzer Hara. In the end, he says chatasi avisi. So what the Musar Nevi'im is saying something else. Be'esh sheme'achet yotzer davar tov, yesh b'zeh tikun la'avera zos. It's a takona for the avera. Ki be'emet, kishem she'omer b'Shabbos kufches, she'en adam oimed al divrei Torah elam ke nichshol bo. A person really stands on Torah only after he fails in it. Kachein adam magia l'madrega gdola b'tzidkis v'masim toivim, el im ke nichshol be'ezachet. The hergesh hanochem shebo she'eno noten lamanoch mo'arer to litzigis l'masim toivim. He has regret, becomes a Baal Tshuva, and he comes to a higher level. The chen hayam David b'maisa da'asosa, ki al yedei hadavar hazeh ubali atchilas bin beis hamikdash, ulefichach lo haya nechshav lo hadavar hazeh lechem. There's more to say about this, but I think it's a wonderful closure. David HaMelech participates in the purchase of the place where the Beis HaMikdash is being built. He builds the first Mizbeach. They offer the first korbanos there. But it's going to be to his son Shlomo HaMelech that the actual building will take place. Mirz Hashem, when we start Malachim Aleph next week, we will get right into it. David doesn't leave the scene for a while in the beginning of Malachim, so we still have David, but the trials and tribulations of David HaMelech we've been through together as a group. We are planning some kind of Siyum event for the fact that we finished Shmuel. It's a Shmuel Aleph and Shmuel Bet. It's a big sefer to finish, and we'll talk about when we're going to do that. But Mirz Hashem will start Malachim next Motzei Shabbos, same time, 8:00. And anybody have any other comments, questions, things they want to say about the Sefer Shmuel in general?
We'll save it for the Siyum.
Okay. Have a good week, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.